We try the King's Indian attack again, like in a couple of other games, with g3 coming now, bishop g2, and we can play it quite quickly. Then d3 maybe, or we can still think about playing d4 at once. So let's castle first. If he plays knight c6 now, yeah. So this is the position where we have a choice between like d4, c4 and d3, because sooner or later we need to fight for the center. But as said at the beginning, I want to play like some kind of King's Indian attack. So we have the white pieces playing a setup that you normally play with black, but because of this we have like a move more, a tempo more. So e5 is a normal move, and with black you would play e4, but I don't like him to play to exchange here on e4, and then exchanging queens could be quite boring. I want to protect the pawn here with my knight. This bishop is not too good here on d6, because okay, it protects here the pawn, but it also weakens some control over d5, and sometimes it can try to to have some perspective on this diagonal later on, so this doesn't work anymore. I want to play knight c4 maybe later, and this knight could always be chased away with b5, so I play a4. That it makes it difficult for black to play b5, and then I can play knight c4. Yeah, let's continue with this plan. And then what I want to do very quickly is playing f4 with my pawn, and I'm just wondering if my knight is really good on h4 and if I will jump to f5. I could try it, because if he really exchanged the bishop here, I not only have the bishop pair, I have a very good bishop then on this diagonal. So up to now there's nothing like special things that happened, and I want to play f3 anyway. So I want to play this pawn, so I win a tempo. He needs to move again, and I need to take care if I play f4 and he takes here. Normally white wants to play back with the g-pawn to have control over e5, but then he could sacrifice his knight and then winning this knight. I also don't like that much if he takes here. I need to take back here. This pawn might get a weakness, so I just play b3. Then I could think about playing knight f5, or maybe I think this is one of the other choices, queen to e1. Okay, but he just gives me this square here for the knight, and this will be a very nice square now, because if he didn't play h6, he could always think about playing g6 maybe, but then this pawn would be gone. So this is a very nice square now for my knight. And here again, as so often, if black plays h6 and already castled, maybe I can sacrifice a piece. If he takes, I take with the pawn, and then this bishop might be very strong on this diagonal. And this knight doesn't have that many squares, because all the white squares are under total control of me. So this square is both attacked by pawns. What does he want to do? Does he want to play d3? Okay, it doesn't look too good if I here have two double pawns, but look, this is a very strong center now. Next move will be e5, and this knight doesn't have a bright future. Can take here with my bishop, but I think this is not time for grabbing pawns. This is just time to execute here. So this vis-a-vis is maybe good, because I could play something like f6. Maybe something like taking here, he moves, then bishop d5. And if you play f6 and he plays g6, I can just take here, because this pawn would be hanging. I like this move, because I can't play f6 now. But let's play bishop d5 anyway. Maybe I can play queen g6 afterwards, then he needs to protect, like rook e7 or rook f8, and then I play f6. Maybe I can do it now. Or should I just make a waiting move? Because this rook is not doing that much though. Let's do it first, because black doesn't have that many good moves, so why should I help him to maybe get rid of this bad position? I just bring my other rook into the game to e1, and then I start this plan. Queen g6, f6. Could also try to play e6 maybe, but then this knight could escape. Okay, now I can't play g6, but I repeat the threat f6 now, and I attack f7 with the bishop. If he takes, I take on h6. Threatening mate. Ooh, this will be... Maybe I can manage to get the bishop somehow on this diagonal. Okay, he didn't even see
checkmate.
The mate. I think what you can learn from this game is that material is not always that important. I mean, it's important, sure, but in this position here, I had the possibility to take on b7, and yes, it's a good move, but it would also help black. If you just compare this position here. Imagine I take on b7, he plays rook b8, I move my bishop to d5 something. This rook would be in the game. It would be well positioned on b8, it's an open file, and what I did is just I focused on the attack, because I have a lot of pawns here on the king side, and black has just one defender for his king, it's a knight, and the knight is on the edge of the board, it's not very good here. And I just need to move forward the pawns. Either f6 or e6, doesn't matter. And my queen is very good on g4. And yeah, because black wanted to protect the pawn, he moved queen c8. And a couple of moves later, you see that you look at this position. Even even if he plays rook g8 now to protect the mate, this bishop can't move to e7. It can move to here to this square, but doesn't do anything here and here as well. And here he can't move because I just take it. This rook can't do anything, and my rooks are just behind the pawns who want to move forward. This bishop is attacking f7. So if he moves, for example, to g8 now, because he has to move to g8, I could maybe try directly to play e6, and if he takes, I take back, attacking the queen and the rook at the same time. So this is already an easy win. But maybe I could also try to play f5, taking here later on, or playing f5 and then moving e5, e6 afterwards. There are so many ideas, and black can't do that much. It would help him if the pawn is not on b7 and if the rook is here. For example, he could just move, if there was no mate, rook b2, attacking here something. And yeah, materially is not always important. Sometimes you just need to focus on your attack, and then speed is important.